Morning, everybody, and welcome to our weekly Kent State football press conference. We've got head coach Kenni Burns, and here in a few minutes we'll have redshirt freshman wide receiver Krishan McCray. But first, Coach, just opening thoughts about the MAC opener against Miami, and a brief thought about the trip ahead down to Athens to take on the Bobcats.
Sure. First of all, starting with Miami of Ohio, a good game. Obviously, didn't get the result we wanted, but really encouraged by some of the things that happened in that game. Like I said at the MAC Media Days, this is going to be a year where we just have to consistently get obsessed with the process and the growing. And I've been a part of this, a lot of different institutions, and I think we're right on track where we should be from a growing standpoint. And basically what I mean by that is going into games, finding out what we did right, finding out what we did wrong, and really attacking how to fix that. And each game presents new problems like you saw on Saturday. But our team is ready to work, and we're back to work on Sunday, and we'll do everything we can to play a really good Ohio team who's well coached. Coach Alvin, know him a little bit, but we both have a little bit of North Dakota State background. We both were there at some point working for Craig Bull. So a lot of philosophies that I see on tape is stuff that we were trying to implement in our football team as well. But really good players, obviously led by their quarterback, who was I believe, player of the year last year in the MAC. Really good player. Goes through him, get a really good running back. And number 12 is a really solid receiver as well. And then defensively, they're just really sound. They don't beat themselves. They tackle well. They get to the ball. They're a good team, and that's probably why they were a team that, like Miami, was one of the teams picked to win the MAC. So we got a good challenge this week, but excited for it, and I know our guys are ready to get back out there and play.
Let's open it up to our room for questions. We'll start with Dane Richards. Dane?
Coach, was there anything that you noticed on tape that you didn't see right after the Miami game that you're looking to improve on heading into the Ohio game?
Yeah, I didn't think we did a great job of breaking tackles on offense. On the field, I probably didn't notice it as much. But we talk about explosive plays. We got to have explosive plays. Well, a lot of that comes with the ball being thrown to you. You didn't be able to make a guy miss or break a tackle to make an explosive play. Same thing at running back. I didn't think we broke enough tackles to create explosive plays. So we got to do a better job at that. We'll do some things in practice to address that. But I think our team is slowly doing better with other things I'm asking them for, but it's a lot of things we got to put together. Like we didn't turn the ball over, which was a good step in the right direction. I think we defensively limited the explosive plays. It was a close battle there, but the tackling, we got to do a better job of just breaking tackles and stuff like that. But you know what? The thing I will say, they played extremely hard in that game, harder than they had played up to that point. I thought we played pretty hard up to that point, but they were really in a fight. And what we've got to do a better job of is when adversity hits, when you look at the flow of the game, I really challenged them to accelerate in the middle of the game and come out the locker room swinging and giving us everything they got. And we have a big play, and then we have a little bit of adversity, which is a call you can argue, sure, that it was a bang-bang call, but it took away from an explosive play, and I thought our offense kind of deflated after that instead of saying, hey, it happens, move on, next play. Because the next two plays, there were opportunities that could have been taken from what the defense was giving us, and we didn't take advantage of them.
Coach, how would you describe sort of the improvement each week with Mike's connection with his receivers such as Trell, Krishan, and Luke, and how that's continuing to improve?
It's getting better. We got to do a better job with the deep ball. I think that's the big thing right there, but that's such a timing thing, and there's some things we can do as coaches to make it a little bit better on them with what we're doing in practice that we're going to try this week with some stuff I've done in my past. But they're getting better. I wish Mike probably was here in the spring. I think we'd probably be a little bit further along with that. But you can see he's starting to get in a groove with a couple guys. Now it was one guy with probably Krishan. Then the second game it was Tro Harris, and now you saw Jamil kind of come into his own a little bit. So you're getting the youth of our football team starting to get better, and that's what I keep encouraging them to do. Just keep getting better, change your best, and then eventually the result will get there. But we're getting better, but I think right now we're starting to pinpoint exactly where we need to focus on as an offense and with the quarterback. So I think the first 2 or 3 games you saw us more so look at, okay, what can he do? What can he handle from a quarterback standpoint? Now he showed us what he can handle. Now we're putting him in situations, and now they've got to complete the ball and catch the ball and make explosive plays.
Dane, any other questions for Coach?
No, I'm all set.
Let's move over to the voice of the Golden Flashes and Rob Pinsky. Rob, any questions for Coach?
Yeah, thank you, Dan. Hey, Coach, I was wondering, I don't think anyone asked you Saturday in the press conference. I wanted to
Yep, we had a fake punt called, obviously, and we were planning on doing that in that situation. We didn't want to really 40 to 40, minus 40 to plus 40. It's kind of, they're going to go in safe punt mode. We knew that, so it wasn't available there. But we knew that they set it up and they gave it to us, and we worked it all week, and we got the look we wanted. And we just had an issue with the communication up front, and that's what got us with that deal. It was set up, it was there. We communicated the wrong call up front. We ended up going the wrong direction, which was a massive problem. And I should have maybe called a timeout because I knew it was going to have to be a check in that situation. But I don't regret it because it was there. We just got to be better at executing it, because I look at it, why'd I call it then? I was looking at the time of possession. I was a little bit worried that our defense was going to be on the field too much. So I wanted to try to steal a first down and keep our offense on the field and steal a couple extra minutes. When you talk about just the time of possession, because I think that's a big thing when you're really relying on your defense. Because right now you look at our team, our defense is our strength. While our offense figures out who they are and they're developing with the youth there and the inexperience, our defense has got to play well to give us a chance. So I look a lot as a head coach, how can I protect them? And basically that was a way for me to keep the offense on the field in a situation where it actually presented itself, and we just didn't execute. From coaches to players, we didn't execute it well. One thing I'll say is our defense did come out and respond and held on to 3 in a really bad situation. But that's kind of the mindset behind that.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Speaking about the offense, not just Saturday, but in several games this year, it seems like you get some things going in the first half, and then for whatever reason, in the second half, you're not getting much production at all offensively. Are you seeing anything now that you've seen a few games on tape? Is there something we can do differently in the second half of these games? And is there a specific reason or two that the offense is really getting, kind of shut down in the second half of these games?
It's a great question. I look at it as, it wasn't just the second half, though. There was a lot of what I call drive killers, where we had things that happened that we self-inflicted wounds that happened that just stymied a drive throughout the whole game. And we've got to do a better job with that. And we talk about paying attention to detail, like their details by a certain guy here or there was really killing us the whole game, not just the second half. I think the second half we wore down a little bit, but there were still times we got to the 40, 50-yard line, and then here comes a sack, or here comes a penalty, or here comes a guy misses his block up front that we just can't do. But to me, it was really consistent after the first drive. There was a lot of consistency in that, just drive stoppers that we can't have. I think the progress in the second half was better than it was last game, but there's still so much work to do on offense. And we know that as coaches. We know that we believe we're playing the right people, though, and they are showing signs of growth, but it's putting all 11 together. You look at our defense, that's what they've done well. They've all 11 have kind of got on the same page. Offensively, we're still working for that, and that's why I knew that going into the year. And I want to make that really clear. I knew that would be something that we would have an issue with all year long. And that one day would just click and they all work together. But these guys, again, they have to play together more and more and more. And you can practice all you want, but until you're in the live situation with defenses adjusting, defense doing different things, you have to react to it. It doesn't work until you get those live reps. And they're getting those now, and they'll keep getting better. I have no doubt about that in my mind. And I think they got the right coaching staff to lead them. And I see it on tape with what I'm looking at as the head coach and what we're asking for. I see growth there, but we're still a long ways away.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Let's move things along to Rob's partner in the booth, and Tom Evans. Tom, any questions for Coach?
Yeah, Coach, the offensive line question's coming for me, Coach.
Yeah.
You started off the season with a group, and you got a couple guys banged up, and you're kind of, it seems to be searching for the right combination. How close are you to getting the right group of guys all in kind of that continuity that you need to make sure that we can run that offense the way you want it run?
Yeah, injuries happen, and guys are probably playing a little sooner than they wanted to. We're playing two true freshmen up there, a couple redshirt freshmen that you probably would have loved to sit back and let them watch a little bit and get used to what college football's like, but they're having to play. And each game, it kind of, like I said earlier, presents a new issue. And that's what I say. It all works together. Mike, everybody's looking at Mike. Well, he's getting in a rhythm, but it's not as consistent. Well, a lot of that has to do with other moving parts to our offense. Our offensive line playing younger guys, getting in a rhythm there. It all works together. So losing Rumbler, losing some of the other guys we had starting at the beginning of the year, that definitely plays an impact. But guys, we got to step up. We have a mindset of next guy in, and that's how we got to go about our business. So we're working towards it. I think we're getting closer. I think we found 5 guys that we really like. Probably actually about 6 guys we probably really like. Is just finding out how do we put those guys in the best situation. You know, we started out with Jim Toe playing tackle. Now he's playing guard. You know, it's because that's gives us the best 5 guys on the field. But with that transformation and moving him to guard, there becomes a learning curve for him that he's doing a whole new position that he didn't do all fall camp. So we'll keep moving parts here to get what we want. But I think we're getting closer and closer. And the thing I like about the group is I do think they're playing a lot harder than what they played at the beginning of the year. Now it's just getting them, again, all on the same page. And I feel bad for Coach Limegrover because each week kind of a new guy goes down and here comes a new face in, and he's got to start from scratch with who he's putting in and where he's putting them in. But I know he's up for the task.
Coach, just about that inside the 10 offense, and we watched this for a while with the RPO, even before you got out here, that sometimes when it gets inside the 10-yard line, we've had difficulty getting touchdowns and a lot of field goals. Is that a mindset? I know the field's squeezed on you, and it kind of takes away some of what you want to do with the RPO. Talk to us a little bit about that goal line offense.
Well, I truly believe we call it the green zone. Once you get inside the 20, to me, it truly becomes down to up front. You've got to now be able to move people because your vertical pass game is now pretty much gone. So teams that have really good O-lines, they typically are able to have success in the red zone or green zone, we call it, or tight green zone. And that's where we're developing there right now. So we're not there yet, But when I got here, I looked at that. That was obviously a statistic that stood out. Lack of touchdowns in the 25-yard line in, and I talked to Coach Matty J about it and kind of gave him my philosophy of belief, and he's working with it right now. But I think when we get better up front, you'll see more success there. Because to me, you've got to be able to run the ball in that area. You've got to be able to run the ball. You've got to be able to move the line of scrimmage and the LOS, and we're just not there yet, to be quite honest with you. And that's not anyone's fault, but we've got to get bigger, faster, stronger. We need more repetitions down there. Because teams are going to play cover one, they're going to press you up, and they're going to add extra hats in the box, and your only chance is to move them that way and get some success there. And I think teams that we've had the skill advantage on, you've seen that. We played Central Connecticut, we were better than they were up front, so we were able to move them and score touchdowns down there. Everyone else has been either equal, I think, from a talent standpoint, or they've been a little bit better than us, and we haven't been able to move them up front. So that's something that we've still got to get creative in what we're doing. I think that, we had some stuff lined up for being able to score down there with some trick plays and some stuff like that we didn't get down there enough to actually use. But that's what I told our offensive coaches. That's what they call you, coach. You got to get creative with what you're doing and put our guys in the best situations to have success.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Coach, any final thoughts?
Nope. I appreciate all the coverage, and go Flashes, King Grit. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce Krishan McCray, redshirt wide receiver out of Avon, Indiana. Krishan, just some opening thoughts as you kind of expanded your role within this offense so far this year.
Not playing much last year to playing a big role this year. I think Coach Matty J and Coach Mack and Coach Burns have done a phenomenal job forming me into the player that I am. Believing in me, just helping me grow as fall camps and spring ball came around, and just gave me the confidence to go out there and play with the how that I do.
Thank you. Let's open it up for some questions. We'll start with Dan Richardson. Dan, any questions for Krishan?
Krishan, you obviously were one of the bright spots in the loss on Saturday. So what allowed you to have such a big game? I believe it was your first game over 100 receiving yards in your career.
Yeah, big shout out to the O-line, giving Mike a lot of time to, process the defense and know where I'm going to be, when I'm going to be there. So big shout out to the O-line because they're the reason that I was able to do all that.
And we know that Mike wasn't here last spring, so he arrived this fall. So how would you describe your connection with him and how that's growing?
Me and Mike's connection is really still growing. We've actually been staying after practices, getting our connection down, timing down with everything, since every route takes a different amount of speed. So really still building that connection there.
And how was the relationship amongst the receiving group with guys like Trell, like Jamil, like Luke, and sort of how you guys go about your day-to-day?
We're really close. We all bond together. We all help each other out. We all, like, when someone's not in, we're their eyes on the sideline, so we help them figure everything out and where they need to be.
Thank you, Dane. Let's move things over to the voice of the Golden Flashes and Rob Pinsky. Rob, any questions for our wide receiver?
Yeah, thank you. Hey, Krishan, could you tell us what you think your strengths are as a receiver, as a football player?
I believe that my strengths are my speed first, and just honestly in my hands, just catching the ball and being able to go get it.
And can you talk about the yards after catch? You had 27, yak yards on Saturday, and how important is that, and what's the key to doing that?
Coach Burns made a big emphasis on explosive plays, so, I tried my best to, break tackles after plays, after catches, and just get as many yards as possible for my team.
Thank you, sir.
Last and certainly not least, Rob's partner in the booth, Tom Evans. Tom, any questions for Krishan?
Yeah, hey, Krishan, do you have some options on your routes, or is everything pretty much scripted as far as what you guys are doing right now with getting to know Mike?
So most of my routes are option routes. Basically, it's just me reading the defense and also Mike reading the defense. So me and him are on the same page. So we see the same thing. So that's how those routes go.
And how do you translate some of the successes that you're having right now into like unit successes for the wideouts and some team success? How do you try and build that and spread that out amongst your teammates, Krishan?
We all celebrate our success. So one player's success is all of our successes. So that's how we go about our business with that. Really just one unit. So whenever someone else does good, that's all of us. That's all of our win.
Thanks, Krishan.
All right, that concludes our press conference here for this week. Big thanks to Krishan for joining us, and we'll see everybody on Saturday as the Golden Flashes take the trip down to take on the Ohio Bobcats. Krishan, thanks.
Thank you.